Hi, welcome back to my channel, Latina Plants. My name is Jackie. Today we are going to transfer this Anthurium into the naked root pot. She is going through some root rot, and so we're going to have to take care of that beforehand. But I did want to explain to you guys that I think these naked root pots might be really good for my anthuriums because they have a lot of slots in the inner pot to help with aeration for the roots. Anthuriums do not like their roots to be too compacted in their soil, and they like a lot of air. So we're going to go ahead and take her out and treat her rotted roots, cut off any damaged rotted roots, and then we're going to go ahead and pot her into some new substrate. At this moment was where I realized that her roots were rotting. Even though she was in a clear pot, it was hard for me to tell whether the roots were good or not. And when I took her out of her pot, some of her roots were mushy and falling off. So I'm going to put on some gloves here, and we're going to remove all of the substrate that she is in. The substrate that she was in was Fox Farm mixed with some orchid bark, charcoal, and perlite, as well as some added worm casting. But I decided to remove her from this because she was rotting. I'm trying to be as gentle as possible as to not hurt the good firm roots that she has, because Anthurium roots are really thick and robust roots, but they can snap really easily, so you have to be gentle with them. I am new to the Anthurium world, so I am learning as I go. If you have any tips, any care tips, any recommendations for Anthuriums, whether it's nutrient-wise or substrate-wise, let me know down below in the comments. I would greatly appreciate it. I have been thinking about using some tree fern fiber mixed in with some pumice or pon. I haven't decided yet what I would like to try for my anthuriums, but for now I'm going to use what I have on hand, which is my airy soilless mix. In my mix I have the cocoa core, cocoa chips, chunky perlite, and worm castings. I like to add some charcoal as well to my mix, but I didn't have any on hand, so we're going to work with what I have. I do end up using some of the pon to add some more aeration to the mix, and I hope that will help her stay more airy, as well as potting her into the naked root pots. I hope that helps with her not rotting anymore. This is a long form video, so I will show you towards the end a couple of updates, about 3 updates that I was able to record and share with you guys. I am being very vigilant with this plant and checking her every day, as well as I'm sanitizing everything to make sure that we're not transferring any kind of bacteria. And I do take the little extra mile and I use some myco on the roots when I repot her into the naked root planter. And so far she's doing great in the naked root planter. Here I am just eyeballing the pon into the mix. I'm not doing any measurements, and we're going to mix that up into my soilless mix. and we're going to pot her up in this. If you guys have tried the naked root planters, let me know down below in the comments. I'm also going to link the naked root planters in the description box for you guys. This is not a sponsored video at all, but I am affiliated with Naked Roots, and so I earn a little bit of commission if you purchase using my link. I do have a 20% off coupon that you guys can use on your first purchase. Here is the Myco that I'm choosing to use, and I've been using this Myco for a while, and I feel that it's been beneficial for my plants. It is a little on the expensive side. I do have it linked in my description box for you guys as well as any of the substrates that I am using. If there is anything that I forgot to link in the description box that you guys are looking for, please let me know down in the comments and I will add that. So here we are, potting her up into the substrate. Hopefully she does well with this mix. And like I said, I'm new to anthuriums, so I'm trying a lot of new and different things. If you've tried tree fern fiber with your anthuriums, let me know what you think about tree fern fiber and mixing it with corn or pumice. What do you think? Is it beneficial for the plants? I'm currently using a new fertilizing regimen for all of my plants. I'm adding silica and CalMag as well as some other nutrients. Hopefully that helps my plants be stronger and healthier and grow healthier roots, as well as have healthier foliage. I'm tapping the pot here just to settle in the substrate to make sure that she doesn't have any huge air gaps in there. It would have been helpful to have a clear inner pot just so you can see if you have any gaps in your substrate, as well as to be able to monitor the roots. So far, using these planters, I've been able to gauge whether or not it's doing well in the pot and substrate by gauging how much water she's using up or drinking up from the reservoir. The idea of this planter is that you can, when you initially plant your plant up in this pot, you can water from the top down to make sure that your substrate is well hydrated, and then you also want to have the reservoir filled up. Then you let your plant sit in the reservoir with water for 2 to 3 weeks, for however long it takes for it to dry up. After you have no water left in the reservoir, you can start counting the amount of days that you don't add any water to the reservoir. I did, for my anthurium, I did a 9-day dry period, and after the 9 days I did add some water to the reservoir, and then I let her drink up the water again before I started counting the days. And so far that's been good for my anthurium. I do make sure that she is not drying up completely, because Anthurium roots don't like to dry out. That's when you can have problems with them. And I felt that the 9 days was adequate enough for her to have a dry period. Here is the sheet that I got. So for the 5-inch planter that I'm using, you can do 6, 9, or 12 days. I treated this plant like an average house plant, and so I did the 9 days. I was going to do 6 days, but I did the 9 days. And here I am adding some water to the substrate, making sure that it's draining well and that the substrate is getting well hydrated. I think that the pond helps the roots have some moisture available, as well as create some more aeration to the substrate. The water that I'm using to water this Anthurium is the RO water, so reverse osmosis water. I just have a filter on my sink water that helps me with that for my plants that my husband put in. So this is what she's looking like, and I made sure that she had enough water in her reservoir, that it was filled to the top. I did not remove the water, especially because I added myco, and so there's some myco in that water. So fingers crossed that she does well in this pot. I really think that she will. Here is a week 1 update. She's doing well, you guys. She has a new leaf that has emerged and is growing. Her leaves look really healthy. I brought her down so I can show you her more up close. Her new leaf looks so beautiful. It's really hard to do this with one hand. I'm trying to hold the phone with one hand and also lift the pot up with the other hand. So as you can see here, she has drank up some of her reservoir water, but she's not completely dry yet after a week. The top of her substrate is evenly moist as well. Her older leaf looks like it's starting to yellow and crisp up. But this is where I have her with those Barina lights on my ceiling. I also have some fans in my plant room that are circulating the air, but it's not causing her to dry out too much at all. I wanted to give you another look of her new emergent leaf, which is looking great. Her older leaves are also looking really good and healthy. This is week 2, and her newest leaf is still growing. She's taking her sweet time growing, but she's doing good. Her substrate is still evenly moist, and she still does have a reservoir of water. As you can see here, she seems to be really happy in the mix as well as the pot. She's not drying out too fast at all. This is week 3, and her leaf has grown substantially, and she's looking great. I really try not to touch the emergent leaves too much, but look at how beautiful she is getting. She is also giving me a new leaf here. She did do that Cinderella slipper thing, and I did help her out, and unfortunately that caused some damage on that new emergent leaf. I will share that in a different video for you guys. But I'm really happy that she's given me new growth and is continuing to grow, and she has upsize as well. This older leaf looks like it's going and it's on its way out. I am noticing a little bit of yellowing on the older leaves around the edges. I'm not sure if that is a substrate problem, a watering problem, or a nutrient problem. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys think it could be. I'm checking her reservoir again, and she's almost completely out of water. So a few days after this was when I started to count the 9 days. So in 3 weeks, you guys, I did not have to water her at all. She stayed evenly moist, and maybe that is why she has some yellowing. Maybe it's too much moisture for her. I'm not sure. Let me know down below in the comments. The pot is working great with keeping the plant moist enough. Here is a closer look at her. I brought her down so you can see her up close, and her new leaf. This kind of has like a rainbow effect because of the window film that I have in my plant room, but I thought this was the best lighting to get a look at all of the leaves here. And again, she has a new emergent leaf, which turns out to be pretty damaged because I touched it. I want to say about 3 days after the 3 weeks was when I watered her. I just added water to the reservoir, and then after that, about 3 weeks again was when I watered her. If you're interested in trying out these naked root pots, go ahead and check them out. I will leave their link in the description box. You can get 20% off using my code Latina20. I hope you guys enjoyed this long form video. Please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not a subscriber already. Click on that bell to get notified every time I upload a video, and thank you guys so much for joining me on this video and for your support. I really appreciate it.